Joining me now live to discuss all of this, Republican Congressman from Florida's 17th Congressional District, Greg Steube. Greg, good to have you here. Appreciate it very much.
Yep. Good to see you.
I mean, calling it, I can't use that word on TV, but it's quite a show right there in Washington these days. I mean, look, you get Mike Johnson, who, by the way, I'm very optimistic about. He gets attacked as being basically the Antichrist by the left. I mean, he's a Christian conservative. I mean, he's just a dangerous individual to America because he believes in America. And then he says, look, we have to separate these bills, which is what Kevin McCarthy had promised to do and never did. I mean, I think Mike Johnson's off to the right start to do the right thing to hold people accountable. What say you?
Yeah, and we passed one earlier this week. We're passing two more this week before we go home for the weekend and then come back up Monday. So we will have sent, I believe it's 8 appropriations bills out of the 12 by the end of this week. Next week we'll come back, we'll do the same thing. I think the goal is to get all these appropriation bills to the Senate by the deadline of the CR, which is November 17th, and I believe that the House will do that. And then Chuck Schumer will do absolutely nothing with all of these conservative bills. And then the question will be, what do they send back to us? And then what's the House's response to that? We have to get spending under control in Washington. It's insane. There was just a number that came out today. We're running a $2 trillion deficit just this year. I got elected 5 years ago. The debt was $21 trillion. The debt now is $33 trillion. There's programs, Social Security, Medicare, all these type of things. They're going to be taking in less money than it's expending in the next couple of years. We have to get our fiscal house in order. We have to get all of the spending in order, and we cannot continue the Nancy Pelosi, Biden spending that has been going on for the 4 years until the Republicans took control.
Yeah, that's a wrap, folks. I think he just nailed it right out of the park. There's a walk-off home run for Congressman Steube of Florida. You hit them all, Congressman. Look, there are problems. I didn't realize, because I had heard here a couple of days ago, so that's news to me, that the deficit for fiscal year 2023, which is already closed, was $1.7 trillion. It's $2 trillion. It's worse than we expected, which means just servicing the American debt right now is more than we spend on the military for this country. The military that we want to loan out to Ukraine, to Israel, and to every other country on the planet, apparently, until we have nobody left to defend this one. Where am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And the Democrats, Schumer and Biden, just want to keep spending into oblivion with no offsets whatsoever, not addressing this. And of course, they're going to politicize aid to Israel that we Republicans are going to offset. And I think a great place to offset that is the 87,000 IRS agents the Democrats want to hire to go after everyday Americans, low-income Americans, middle-income Americans, and completely weaponize the IRS. So we'll take some funding from that to give it to our real ally, Israel, yet they can't help themselves, but now want, like in your monologue, talking about the progressives wanting, there's an emergency over here domestically that we want, to send more $1 trillion. There's all these illegals coming in. We got to give them money too. Let's just give everybody money and put it on our grandchildren.
This is the way it got, and the Democrats love this, Congressman. You see this every day. They're gleeful. It's this emergency to this emergency. They're hoping they can declare a climate emergency, and then it snowed all over the country, earliest it has in 25 years. Kind of snowed in their parade. Not in Florida, I realize, but there's problems there. Mitch McConnell's also happy to spend all the money, too. The problem is it's not just Democrats. There's problems with the home team wanting to spend tons of money, too. Like you said, 5 years, $20 trillion to $33.5 trillion. That is, I don't even know if I can wrap my head around numbers that big, right?
Yeah, you can't. And that is the challenge, is we in the House want to be conservative and send these conservative spending bills. Like one of the bills today cuts like 28% from the EPA's budget, which is certainly a step in the right direction. And then you have Mitch McConnell saying that they're not going to take any of these things up. We got to give Ukraine more money. And you have Republicans in the Senate joining up with the Democrats and not helping us get our fiscal house in order. And we wonder why we run up against these CRs time and time again, because at some point, Speaker Johnson is going to have to make a decision when they send the CR back from the Senate. Do we shut down the government and stand firm with the American people that enough is enough, close the border or we'll shut the government down? Or are we just going to acquiesce to the Mitch McConnells of the world and continue to spend into oblivion and do continuing resolutions until next year?
Okay, so let me ask you something else. I want to shift gears just for one moment because it looks like I'm surprised to hear you've got 8 of 12 bills done. Congratulations. That's actually a huge step forward for the House from where we've been over the last many years. But let's talk about this for just one moment. Yesterday, 23 of your colleagues voted to table a censuring vote on Rashida Tlaib, who has been openly anti-Semitic, openly hateful of Israel while throwing her support behind the terrorist organization Hamas, and no censure. What does it take for a Democrat to be censured? Why does this happen?
Yeah, I have people in my district thinking that she should be expelled from Congress, and I don't necessarily disagree with that based on the statements that she made and then led individuals into our Capitol against the law and had this huge protest in the Cannon Rotunda that everybody had to be arrested and escorted out of the building. And all that Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to do is censor her, that the comments that she has made are anti-Semitic, that are un-American, and that we, the House, are not going to stand for that type of language coming from a member of Congress, and we're going to censor you, which is, we have that ability in the House to do that. And 23 Republicans sided with the Democrats against that and tabled the resolution. It's a fascinating place up here. I know some of those members had First Amendment concerns, but we're at war in this country between the two sides of the party. They are doing everything to take out Donald Trump and prohibit him from being our nominee in this next election cycle. And we don't even have Republicans that are willing to censor Rashida Tlaib for standing with terrorists, Hamas, and saying anti-Semitic comments in our country. It's very frustrating. It's time for us to fight the way that Democrats are fighting against Trump.
And let me tell you, people out here are frustrated as well. Myself, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. It was a censure. It would not even have removed her from the committee she's on, had no real teeth. It was just a statement of, hey, what you're saying is horrible. And you're right. Washington is a fascinating place, like an old outhouse. Fascinating. Greg Steube, I appreciate you being here. I do. We need to sort this stuff out as often as possible. Thank you.
Amen.
There you have it. Just a reminder,